So what we have here is the London calculator, and for this example I've made up a small team of 5 athletes, which gives us 1 chef de mission and 8 AO accreditations. 4 those are transferable, and we have these venue access rights here. So using these figures, the information is fed into an online calculator, which the NOC can populate with athletes who have qualified or are about to qualify and their proposed or personnel. I have identified 3 different status of athlete and colour coded them. So you have an athlete who is pre-competition, an athlete who is in competition, an athlete who is post-competition. And then AO support personnel, you have your primary accreditation, your first time transferable, second time transferable, and then X, the red X, is a support personnel whose role is finished within the village and is free to be transferred out. On this is the master sheet and the one which has to be agreed at the DRM. But for the NOC, for every day during the games, there's a spreadsheet here which they work on during the games time, and again can be seen by the OCOG, by WADA, by the IOC, and I'll come to those later. So the NOC can try various scenarios, but before the DRM they have to come under their Rule 39 limits, and if you remember, we had 8 AO accreditations in the chef de mission, which gave us 9, and on these days here we're over the limit, so we're going to have to make some changes. So perhaps we can delay these guys from coming into the village, and there are some AA here who have finished in their role and perhaps could be asked to leave the village, and you can see our numbers are coming down here, and then we have all these AAs here, and we'll ask them to leave the village as well. And again, we're coming down to our limits here, and we're well under here towards the end, but that's often the case in the games. A little further down, which I should show you, is the limit for, or not the limit, but the totals for each NOC of athletes and support personnel in the village for each day of the games. Venue access, you can see here another example of being over the limit. We are only entitled to 2 Infinity accreditations, and if we look here at venue access, we can see that we've put in 3 Infinities, and one of them is still a mechanic, so he obviously only needs 1 venue, and that brings us within our limits here as well. The primary accreditations, same, we've too many, so we're going to have to look at reducing that number. So this is the document that goes to the DRM, and as the OCOG and IOC and NOC all know what has been agreed, it should be simple enough to sign off at the DRM. Rather than going through every single accreditation. So on day 1, after the DRM, the rooms have been allocated, and we can see here we haven't given them rooms yet, and you can see on day 5 there are no rooms, and so on throughout the games. If we give this person here room 190, you can see that on day 5 and on day 8 they're in room 90. If on day on day 6 they decided they want to change to room 200. On the subsequent days they're in room 200. Likewise, if an athlete, we expect this athlete here to compete until day 4, but on day 3 perhaps they get knocked out of competition, so on day 4 they will effectively be an athlete post-competition, and that would mean that these support personnel here are now superfluous and can be asked to leave the village. And that gives us a lot more flexibility. Down here to bring in support personnel, perhaps for these for the cycling team here, which we had to get rid of earlier on. And then that, as I say, that is reflected on each day throughout the games. Also, each field is filtered, so to know on a particular day how many athletes are pre-competition, we would just click on that and we can see that on day 3 we have 3 athletes, and these are the names here, and that can be used for any category in this field here. So the OCOG can then see, as the team develops and people move in and out, the numbers along the bottom here will change, and if it's online and every NOC completes it, say for what or whereabouts, then the OCOG will have a very clear picture of numbers expected to be in the village each day during the games. So that's a brief summary of what this tool can do.